Good afternoon, everyone. Last game of the day here on ULTI.TV's coverage of Windmill 2023 mixed semi-final action. Two European powerhouses slugging, going at it, GB and Germany, for a place in tomorrow's final against the winner of Cruz and Italy. Benji Rees and Hannah Pendlebury with you in the booth.
Certainly are, Benji. We just had a dynamic women's semi-final on this show pitch in front of us, and I'm hoping for an absolute storm between these two teams, topped for the top of the tables at EUC later on this season.
Holzer into the centre, was looking for Walczak, couldn't get it. On the underneath, Simpson, dishing it off. Back into the centre. Great Britain's D-line, oh, I thought was going to overthrow Simpson there, but he collects. Back to Boxall, now Connor McHale. Just a little leading throw there for Boxall. Chases down, goes to ground, but he keeps it up. McHale with a little shake and bait to get free in the handler space. Determined not to let that break side option go, the Germans. Now they're trying to spread it out towards the corner, and Boxall finds Simpson, and it's Great Britain 1, Germany 0.
Well, this one coming off of serve immediately, GB. Well, we've had some discussions this season, Benji, as to whether or not you should or should not pick defense to start a very intense, what's tipped to be very close game. So maybe we'll have to get that information from the sideline as to what the initial calls were here, but certainly a break to start us off for Great Britain, an ideal result. And they've obviously been cruising their way through the Swiss draw, as have the Germans. Of course, we've seen lots of the talent from the usually women's side for Germany coming across this season to play a little bit of mixed, following, of course, a historic campaign at the World Games last season.
It's like Bailey Melvin-Tenn's got the disc ready to pull. I mean, GB could not really have dreamed better start to that. Not only getting a turnover in a short field, but a nice clean red zone possession as well.
Largely off the shoulders, it has to be said, of Andrew Boxall and Mark Simpson. That's a redemption layout grab for Boxall was quite the cool look.
Holzer powers off deep. Instead, underneath to Förster. Now Trautmann. Continuing towards the far sideline. Holzer underneath for Prien. Prien wants to go into the backfield. Can she find a way round? Going to float it over the head of Link into Trautmann's arms. Holzer again. Shooting down the far sideline, but there's no one there.
Yeah, Lasse Haugen looked like he was going to threaten that slice of the end zone, but a miscommunication between the male-matching players after the Germans had to resort to some chuck it in hope type action. Well, I say chuck it in hope, sort of trying to exploit the face mark, but Prien and, of course, if I can find her on my roster sheet, Lena Trautmann, again, lots of reps together for the German nation, but usually not in mixed.
So Nugent comes underneath. Gets the force on the floor. Centres, taking the sensible option to Lewis. Lewis towards the far sideline, it's Andy Turner. Cutter planting, coming underneath.
I have to say, Benji, I think maybe the instructions given to GB Mixed in these opening points was for the male matching players to take a little bit more of the heat early stages. Either that or it's just a case of amazing defense being played by the German women.
Taylor centering to Link, looking for some give-go action from Lewis. In the end, oh, it overthrew Link and it snuck through Bailey Melvin-Teng's arms.
Well, I love that spirit from Bailey Melvin-Teng. Immediate, it's like, yeah, no, there's no even question of that. I did not get there.
Holzer trying to make amends for that throwaway. Just going to go short here. There's a concerted effort from Great Britain to try and stop big throws going up, but that one is an expansive blade over the top, and Volchak couldn't track it.
Well, she was in the area, and it's unusual not to see Volchak make, chucking herself around the pitch. But of course, currently on the tail end of recovery from double shoulder surgery, as we see Holzer come off, presumably for an injury sub.
I think he might have blew his cleat.
Oh, wow. Well, I mean, thankfully, Tokaya here, so he can perhaps go and get himself sized up for a new shoe.
Yeah, I don't know if he blew it or whether just the laces kind of explode. But either way, an opportunity for Great Britain to make a substitution as well.
As everything exploded.
Looks like they've brought Ellie Taylor in off the stoppage. Getting some speed after the turn. Violation. Disappointed to not see the hands closed on those violation signals.
Indeed. As Rubenberg says, you have to make the fist. Otherwise, it's not a violation.
Correct.
It's a violation.
We won't dig into why.
No, absolutely not. That's a complete face value statement. Needs no thinking whatsoever.
That's good. I don't like thinking.
That's a lie, Benji.
Here's Link. Athletic grab from Lewis. He cares not about the conservation of greatness. Taylor goes up and boxes out Priyan. Travel into the end zone. So just resets the feet back to Melvin Teng. And Melvin Teng will pop it into Lewis for another GB break 2-0. We talked about bringing in Taylor for the speed. And you saw it there, stretching the field. Left Priyan trailing in the wake.
Absolutely dynamic cutting into the deep space from, as you say, Ellie Taylor. And a timeout being called by the Germans, rather unsurprisingly, having gotten a little bit rinsed there. They're just not hitting the marks. Maybe it's a bit, it's been a long day here in the mixed division. Of course, yesterday was open and women's division turn to play 4 on the trot. Today, it's the heavier workload for the mixed division. So they're going to take a brief moment of repose. And what are we going to do, Benji?
I think we might take a little brief moment as well.
All right, we'll be back after this.
Two-0 Great Britain lead, both of those breaks, so very much in the ascendancy early here. Benjamin Rees and Hannah Pendlebury with you in the booth for the last game of the day and our last game before finals day tomorrow.
I am so excited for the big show tomorrow, although I'd like to shout out the real heroes out here, the volunteers, one of whom just came and fed me some chips.
I didn't get fed any chips.
You got offered chips, Benji.
Did I?
Shout out to Cuba, giving us some frites with mayonnaise.
I couldn't hear because I had my headphones on.
Ah, mate.
Sad.
Missed out. They are so good, though, the chips here. Perhaps the Germans need to get a couple of them salty action to G themselves up.
Kukol, another overthrow down the sideline looking for Holzer. This German offense has just not clicked at all.
No, it's all a little bit disparate at the moment. The effort is definitely there, but I don't know what GB's done, but they've gotten in the heads of their opponents.
Melvin Teng underneath in front of Priyan. She's got some strapping on that right thigh. Simpson inbounds, centering to Boxall. Boxall shooting with the expansive blade to the back corner to Mikhail. Watches it all the way into the breadbasket. 3-0 now, Great Britain lead. Whatever they said in the pre-match team talk, it worked.
Well, again, GB's male matching athletes really going to work. There are a couple of grinding through from the women. Certainly Bailey Melvin Tang getting a big old piece of Nikki Preen on that underneath cup. But at the moment, the male athletes of Great Britain shining out here. Certainly the pressure that Dennis Holzer was put under as he tried to lay out right in front of our cam 2. It's very apparent at the moment that the wheels are not firmly applied to the Germany offense, and this is absolutely not what we expected.
I mean, I don't know if they've managed to successfully compete a pass beyond midfield yet.
Interesting. Curiouser and curiouser. Well, we need to get a bit more funding to get that level of stats. Of course, Jamie Rabbit's once again in the booth. We've got a full Brit sort of affair.
Neutral, obviously, though.
Absolutely. Completely bipartisan. If anything, we love an underdog to us Brits. We love the feeling of being punished. So at the moment, we should all be German fans.
What you do in your free time is up to you.
Quite the opposite, Benji, but the less said about that, probably for the better.
Yeah, let's move on.
Yep.
To be fair, I think we've probably put our livers through a bit of punishment this weekend.
Oh, no, speak for yourself, Benji. I need every bit of my vocal cords I
was
can get.
speaking for myself.
It's one of the best things about being at Windmill.
Vanderholm. Holzer clears through, trying to sneak that one in there. Does find the target. Now Bamgart, back to Holzer. Holzer to Tisson. Rocking the bucket hat again. On the far side, Germany's offense now looking to get a little bit of movement and motion going. Tisson in the red zone. Can GB find a way to clamp down, or will Germany finally get on the board? Bamgart. Oh, the miscommunication with Holzer.
What, my good golly, is going on in these German athletes' heads? Such nice movement. Hats off to, I think it's Letterman, the number 8 for Germany, going at absolute work in that point. Oh yeah, Luterman, sorry.
Expansive swing from Link, but Lewis chases it down. Lewis centres to Kovshov. Back to Lewis. Pick downfield, I think. Back we go.
So an accepted foul, yep.
Good spot, it is indeed Luterman. And as these shiny new jerseys are lying to us.
Well, either way, Luterman will get the credit. Big battle down pitch.
And that time Lewis was trying to shoot for Taylor, being marked by Luterman, but the edge took it over both of them. And for the first time, GB have turned it back to Germany. And it's just going to go right back to Great Britain again. This German offense at 6s and 7s, as Turner is just outside the end zone, looking for some give and go with Link. Now he clears through. Looking for Nugent, and it was ripped in front by Holzer, earning back some of those turns. Now Holzer shooting, zipping it down the sideline. And was that caught in bounds? I think it was as well. That's sensational from Troutman. And now Troutman's putting it up. Some air underneath it. Germany finally on the board with Troutman to Baumgart. And they only just about got it done with GB turning over in the red zone. And then had to toe the line from Troutman to make sure that they could keep it in play.
Oh my holy moly, my goodness gracious, Lena Troutman, what an absolutely insane ankle height grab. I love, look over the shoulder before she gets this. I don't think our camera catches it in that particular replay, but there was a little moment where she was like, looks over the shoulder, that awareness to be able to track the disc down, still kind of just double check, do I need to lay this? Do I need to just catch it in bounds? What's the pressure situation? Huge grab, and then a nice one for Tim Baumgart to just reel in, and at long last we have a German point on the board. 3-1 though. It's quite the scoreline, especially with those 3 being breaks. GB, of course, will get a bit of buy one, get one free action in the second half, but that's a lot better. Still they're working on the very edges of the offense. I know there'll be plenty of adjustment coming from the trio. I don't know, is it a quad set of coaches for the Germany mixed team this season?
You know what? I'm not entirely sure.
I think it's 3 or 4.
I trust you. I back you. It's 3 or 4, or maybe more, or maybe less.
No, definitely 3 or 4.
So just over 15 minutes into the game, Great Britain's O-line on the field for the first time.
Hopefully they're warmed up enough.
Well,
she says, cursingly.
Evidently not. As what should be a simple underpass between Briggs and Wilson can't connect. You do see it so often. It takes a while for an O-line to get out there on the field. And when they do, they're a little bit cold-cocked. Here's Wallace trying to rip it down the break side and into the end zone, past the bidding defender. Blechler with the catch. And it's a break for Germany, pulling one of those back, 3-2.
Well, you can see why Marvin Blechler is on the D-line for Germany mixed. Just an absolute unit.
He's a big man, isn't he?
Yeah, he's a unit. He's definitely got some hops as well. Not only has got that height, but I think we might see some action of players coming to the sidelines to try and G up GB mix. Obviously, you know, they need a little bit of help perhaps, but they're doing pretty all right so far in this game. That's just the one break claimed back from Germany mix. They're gonna have to go on quite the bounce here if they're gonna put themselves back level with their opponents. But of course, it all starts with one.
It does indeed, and they've got that one on the board now. Must say, a very inauspicious start to the game for GB's O-line. First time on the field, and they completed 0 passes, maybe? 1 pass? It was not, in terms of putting a marker down, not what you want.
No, not at all. But yeah, I think you're right. I think it was just the 1 pass, immediately coming apart at the seams.
So Briggs. This time finds Vile. Briggs again. You can see they're just allowing them to move that back and forth at the moment, the Germans. There's the underneath to Taylor. Taylor dishing it off quickly to Briggs. Of course, much more familiar with him in the open division, but playing mixed this cycle. Here's Dick. Around towards the far sideline, and Helen Thompson couldn't tow it in. Neither offense really seems to have things sorted right now.
Well, you know me, Benji. I think D-line's the best place to be in the whole wide world. And in this game, I'm not wrong. I am wrong in other games, of course, because, you know, you have to have a flawless offense. It's very important.
But the O-lines have not really been getting it done so far. Could GB be about to surrender 2 of those 3 breaks right back?
Well, that would definitely make this match way more interesting, so I'm kind of here for it, Benji.
That's a little bit of a floater that Tisson catches. See, the hat has been discarded. Now towards the far sideline. Dick tried to box out, but wasn't able to do so. It's towed in, and we definitely have a game, folks. Baumgart catching his 2nd score.
Oh, I could watch Caroline Tisson throw bombs all day long. That was just absolutely beautifully weighted after snagging the disc over the head of Helen Thompson. Calm and cool as you get, just the shaping on that picture perfect. And of course, Tisson can be found in the women's division for the club season this year. She'll be playing with Yaka. Much of a delight to watch her in the final, certainly back at the Elite Invite, where she was using that arm to great effect. And of course, also one of the brains behind the Play Coach Grow program that's trying to just develop women's ultimate in Europe and beyond. I'm sure they would allow people to sign up, other clubs from overseas, but Certainly a very storied community member and a very talented athlete. But a great counter-attack from Germany mix. Can their D-line snatch another one off of GB? As I'm sure Great Britain's D-line will be currently sat on the sidelines going, come on guys, what?
We did all this work for you and you're just going to give it straight up?
Oh, maybe we just have to have a battle of the D-lines, mate. All these offensive people can just stay on the sidelines and keep the bench warm, huh? I'm kidding, of course.
You're talking to me like I ever played D-line. Come on now, behave. Here's the shot from Briggs. They've crossed Mikhail over to play offense, and it works a charm. Doesn't matter the division. Briggs to Mikhail is a connection that is going to work.
Well, GB managed to stem the flow and not give up the advantage that they ground out, but it's just the one break they now are leading. So a clutch game, 4-3. But at the moment, it's really anyone's. This is the pivotal part of the first half, right? Now it's a case of whether we're just going to get trading or perhaps we might get someone really stealing momentum back here, because it's really GB mixed D-lines for the taking to come out and, you know, give another blow for blow. But I'd quite prefer to see a bit of, you know, trading, really see the offensive lines come out and show us what they can do. I've been throwing a little bit of shade on both of them.
I hadn't noticed.
We get to do it here, and obviously, you know, we know that all of these players out on the pitches at this semi-final level deserve to be here, rightly so, talented to a fault, all of them. But yeah, it'd be nice to see them putting together some fabulous stuff. We'll have to wait and see what we get though, Benji.
Yeah, that is the first clean hold of the game, and it essentially was just one long pass from Briggs to Mikhail. We haven't seen either side kind of really just have a consistent march down the field yet. So the pull from Mikhail, the soaring backhand, fielded in the first pass to Holzer. Had an indifferent start to this game, and that throw to Volchak is a little bit low, but she collects. Now Kukol, shooting deep, looking for Volchak. There's a couple of players in the area, and climbing up, Mikhail slaps it to the floor. Just two players for Germany in that position, and of course that meant two GB defenders as well.
Indeed, a little bit of clustering underneath that one. Mikhail rising high, pouncing at the opportunity given.
Now Mikhail collecting the first pass from the underneath, and Mikhail is shooting deep for Turner. We know Turner can turn on the Jets, and he long jumps it into the end zone. Another Great Britain break. His game, it's very much D-lines on top here, 5-3.
Oh, wow, are we going to get another true run here? That's one more. Great Britain, of course, in the game of breaks, currently 2 to the better of their German opponents. And that's a really big ripper of a backhand. Mikhail showing he can be dangerous on both sides of the disc. And I tell you what, Andy Turner, if he keeps playing with the form he's had at this Windmill tournament, he's going to become one of the GB household names of the future, that's for sure. Yeah,
I'll be honest, I haven't necessarily seen that much of GB Mixed, even though we've covered them a few times, just because I've generally ended up on the other games. But
they try to keep them from us, Benji. They think we'll be biased.
Turner's one of these players. He came out of the University of York, I think, and then played with Smog, and then stepped up into the Open division to play Chevron. I say stepped up as if it's a promotion from Smog to Chevron.
He got demoted.
I mean that he stepped across from Smog to Chevron to play in the Open division, and now he's back in mixed.
Indeed. Well, it's interesting to see which players favour mixed ultimate over open and vice versa. I think it's really healthy for athletes to try a bit of both. They're very, very different games. Certainly still the same sport, but there's little finessing moments that, you know, it's just played in a different manner. But I think certainly as we're seeing all athletes becoming a little bit more committed to strength and conditioning work, getting themselves into the weight room, it's across all the divisions becoming a way more dynamic affair to watch.
Into the what? Weight room?
Yeah, I reckon you could hike quite the weight, Benji. You've just not tried it yet.
As far as I'm concerned, the only weight room I want is the one. I can't even finish this joke.
The only lifting you do is a beer glass from the top of the bar to your mouth.
Right, the only weight room I want to be in is in the queue to the bar. There we go. Which you can take both ways. There we are. Hogan. To Volchak, wanted the dish off. Turning around back to Holzer. Down the far sideline. Kirkol. Just shuttling it back and forth at the moment, the Germans. Back to Holzer. Holzer flicks it to Preen. Preen back into the centre. Holzer now to Hogan. Over the top, just shy of the end zone is Preen. And this is more methodical from the Germans. Break into the centre to Hogan. Hogan continuing around to Preen. Scoring shot not opening itself up at the moment. So taking a reset all the way back to Holzer.
A lot of teams don't like throwing those negative yards, but actually at this elite level, it really doesn't matter because actually it can work to your advantage to open up the field, and that's certainly one way to do it.
Woohoo, I thought it was just gonna, well, it did tempt the defenders in, but it eluded them and it dropped perfectly into the hands of Severin Kirkol for the score. Germany back on the board, 5-4. Little saucy scuba, this one, I think, from Hogan.
Yep, saucy scuba indeed, and rising high like a salmon from a river. Kushal with the clutch grab over the top. So certainly not the easiest offensive hold, but the first clean offensive hold of the game for Germany mixed. First one went to GB. But at the moment, that 21 passes required to unlock that first picture-perfect offense.
No team has scored 1 point. Well, you have to score 1 point in a row to score multiple points in a row, right?
A singular point.
But it's never been just 1 point.
Yep.
It's always been at least 2.
Well, we might well get our first, but I'd rather it be a Germany mixed one to keep themselves in this one. Of course, 2 clear RGB mixed, and they will start that second half on offense.
They will indeed. So we get a freebie.
Well, it's the fair bee more than the freebie, really, isn't it? Oh, a little bit of change of pace there, but you're allowed to do it. Cheeky.
And Joss Briggs catch Germany napping. And Andrew Dick streaks behind the defence. 6-4, 1 pass, ultimate. Sometimes, why do 2 passes when one will do just fine? And it's that flick bomb for which Briggs is so well known.
Yeah, you really cannot give that man his right hand with the right hand force. Like, it's just a... Hold on, are we going to get a chat about the change of pace? Because I actually have this confirmed from Ruben Berg himself. There was a question raised at Tom's Tourney as to if you can change your pace from walking to running to slow down whilst you're making your way towards the disc. And I can tell you, folks, I got it from a member of the Rules Committee himself, Game Advisor Extraordinaire Ruben Berg. You can do whatever you like. You can slow down a little bit. You can move it up a little bit. You can change your pace when you are going to field a disc, as long as you're going at least walking pace or more. So cheeky moves from Briggs. But at the end of the day, you only make that mistake as a defender maybe once, maybe twice.
I was going to say, I bet you that next time the defender is right on that brick mark and is not going to let Josh Briggs get away with anything. But he's right there, knowing the rules and stealing a march.
Oh, absolutely. It's a similar thing to when people are fielding something from the back of the end zone. You actually, unless it's gone all the way out, well, you have to bring it into the sort of, the front line of the end zone because it's a dead disc. It has to come in, from the actual playing field proper rather than in the end zone. Yeah, if you can just pick it up and go, provided it's not gone all the way out of bounds. But yeah, a little bit of a rules wrinkle being exploited by GB. Cheeky, but hey, if it works.
Pool and out of bounds, so will be brought in from the brick mark by Förster. Dishing off to Hogan. Volchak. Trying to go around the back now, the Germans. You can see Andy Turner's just kind of lurking in that lane a little bit.
Justin, can you guys, everyone, move everyone. Justin, you can move them as well.
Dennis Holzer had an indifferent start to the game, but has picked himself up. Volchak.
And also,
Now on the far side, Bake.
Lucy.
Volchak to Holzer. Striding underneath Saskia Bake, now towards the far sideline, Förster. Priyan. With a stall count that's ticking up, finds the release valve of Volchak. Well, there is going to be a bit of a discussion here. I think a foul on some contact between Lasse Hogan and Andrew Boxall, but away from the disc.
Do you know what I've just noticed, Benji?
Yes.
Pretty much all of GB's sideline is on this side of the pitch. I think there are 2 GB players on that far side.
It's not an equitable distribution.
No.
That one, the layout from Priyan, not a surprise from her at this point. But that one down the line, Volchak chases it, keeps it in bounds. Now it's the flame-haired Förster. Across to Priyan. Priyan back to Volchak, whose visor falls off to reveal the mullet in full glory.
It is glorious, isn't it? Real vibes.
Priyan and Volchak playing it between themselves at the moment. Priyan clears out central. Hogan looking for that break slide. They kept that space nice and open, and Severin Kirkol catches his second goal of the game.
Yeah, a little bit of a golf clap there from the sideline of GB. Just saying, yep, that was fair enough. But again, what an incredibly high pass tally that was required to punch that one in. 21 for the previous possession for the O-line of Germany mix, sorry. So many Gs. And then 23 passes required to sink that one in eventuality. Huge save from Nikki Priyan. Good rundown from Lufke Volchak there. And of course, that final one going to Kutschol, sorry.
Just for comparison, Great Britain's last 2 O points took 3 passes and 1 pass.
Yeah.
So doing it in very different ways out there.
Indeed, but certainly Germany do have the athletes to hang tough in the deeps with Great Britain's favoured receivers. But yeah, it'd be nice to see them apply a little bit more pressure, because at the moment, the confidence that GB have.
Dick catches the ball and first pass to Briggs. Helen Thompson stretching it towards this sideline. Faking the backhand, Briggs clears through, wanted the down line, didn't get it. Dick frees himself up on the far side. First pass to Wilson, back to Dick. Dick, he's launched this one. I think he might just run out of room here in the end. And that is comfortably out the back. Dick kind of picking up a little bit of grass and thinking, how did I get that one quite so wrong?
Well, it just shows only human after all, it turns out. But that is good pressure being applied by the Germans. Certainly the good outcome to see them not clicking on that deep shot after it's been so ruthless for the past couple of possessions for GB's O-line. So this is a real and somewhat rare opportunity for the Germans.
Going to begin out of that side stack.
Indeed. Can't help but feel we might see Kosznitsky emerge from it. Melina Kosznitsky, of course. Big poach off from the female matching players of Great Britain, though. Smart defence.
Litterman on the far side. There is Kosznitsky coming underneath. Cross. Looking maybe for the extra pass to Holzer. Baumgart instead fakes it. Back to Litterman. Looking for a bit more motion downfield. Fakes out the first cut. Goes to Litterman instead.
I really like that idea from Litterman, actually. Most people would just sit and wait.
And there's the shot from Baumgart. And it's on the money. Trautmann backpedals, sets herself and make the catch. That is a German break. All of a sudden, we are level pegging at 6s.
Oh, wow. Germany mix still trailing that one little break. But if they can go on another run here, we might see ourselves well in. Well, to be fair, I think we're either way going to get some Galaxy point action. It's just whether who gets to 7 first. But I have to say, Lina Trautmann, I mean, I'm not surprised to be impressed by her. I'm always impressed by her. But the presence of mind she's showing under the pressure of being behind in this game is really something a little bit special. We saw that look over the shoulder before she made that ruthless ankle grab that, you know, just very flexible. I think it can't be understated how tricky, if you've not made that catch before, it's so difficult when you're running down a disc that's quite far, very deep, quite pacey. To bend yourself all the way down to make that low grab is really calling on your spine flexibility. But yeah, this is heating up. Get yourselves in the chat. Which team are you supporting? Of course, broadcasting this to you live and on demand for you to watch at your leisure.
Aren't we good to you?
Oh, we are. I'm sure everyone would rather be here though, Benji.
Briggs. Fakes and then goes to Lewis. Lewis to McHale. Some of the D-liners crossing over now for Great Britain. That always a floater. And
yeah, you can see there immediately, sorry, the foul being called.
Yep, Stulant got up early, but couldn't do so without a little bit too much contact there on Sam Wilson, and I think he knew it as well.
Yep, immediately called his own
violation.
Foul. Oh, Bailey Melvin Tang with some open palms there.
Stulant showing her what it's all about. Wilson to Link. Nice inside break there to Briggs. Briggs fires central for Lewis. Continuation now. Link down the sideline, squeezes it past Luterman to Melvin Tang. Two former Bristol teammates linking up well. Lewis being aggressive, taking on the around break down the sideline. Still not in. Oh, the blade to the back corner. Conor McHale, no! Shot, he got that! He should not have got that. I think he probably knows he should not have got that, but he did so well not only to get the grab, but to get it so cleanly as well.
Oh, absolutely. Go, go, Gadget arms for real.
I think Sam Wilson might owe him a beer.
Well, they have plenty of opportunity to. Of course, it's always the question at Windmill. When you get yourself into the big show on Sunday afternoon, do you go to the party? I think the answer has to be yes, even if you give yourself maybe a 1 or 2 beer minimum. Although, GB Mixed not staying at the campsite, Benji.
Ooh.
Well,
Germany Mixed?
I've no idea. We'll find out. I'll tell you what. I will go find that out right now, Benji.
So you've had it confirmed that they are actually camping?
They are indeed.
The people's champions.
Well, we'll see if it pays off for them, Cotton. It's not a bold strategy. In fact, the camping is actually quite far away from the big top this year. So if you want to go get yourself a full 8 hours of sleep.
A what?
I know, right? We get about like a third of that, maybe, if we're lucky. But you can do at this tournament now.
Volchak. Continuation downfield. They were running that three-handler dominator set for a while. Now Volchak already in the end zone. A few yards away from getting us a Galaxy point. Holzer. Holzer to Mari Förster. And that one squeezed in. Holzer to Prien. 7-7. A Galaxy point.
We love to see it, Benji. We certainly love to see it when it is a comeback after conceding 3 on the bounce. All of them breaks for Great Britain over Germany. So, of course, this really is a moment for the Germans to snag themselves that one extra, put them on the bounce. Because if GB are able to punch this one in, they start the second half on offense and can stretch themselves back out to potentially a 9-7 lead. A little cluster of captains in the centre of the pitch. Shout out to Carla Link, who had we talked about a really nice inside break that she got. I forget exactly when earlier, but the speed of that woman's gun is incredible. It's like a Wild West shootout, just shooting out of the hip immediately, very, very quickly. And actually, I think someone that sometimes doesn't end up quarterbacking an offense quite so often. Of course, we saw that dominator set coming out of the Germans in the last possession. Of course, you have to try and do something to interrupt that flow because they raced down sort of 2/3 of the pitch in no time at all. But yeah, Link is at her happiest, I think, when she sat around the back set.
So, what have the Germans cooked up for Galaxy point? Somehow I doubt that was it. The pool landing, well, not miles out of bounds. You know me, I'm never prone to hyperbole, but comfortably so.
Well, you never know. I mean, getting those matchups set, getting yourself on the balls of the feet. I'm enjoying the 13-13 matchup, Neubert and Melvin Teng.
Vanderholm on the mark, Josh Briggs. This one doesn't have the quick pickup. Miscommunication with Thompson, and Troutman was right there to burgle it. Holzer downfield, Troutman sitting it out into space. Hogan with the score. Germany breaking on Galaxy point, and after a topsy-turvy back and forth first half, we're on serve heading into the break.
Well, that was an absolute must-grab break for Germany. Mix fabulous work from Lynn and Troutman. So far, I have to say, probably my player of the match to watch. But we'll have to see how this second half develops, Benji. Back on serve. GB will start on offense, but heck, this is such a spicy game and I love it.
How we got here, I'm not quite sure, but this is where we are, and we're going to take some thoughts during the halftime to compose ourselves, get some water on, get refreshed, and get yourself back here in a couple of minutes' time, because the second half of this semi-final here at Windmill continues on the other side. Great Britain 7, Germany 8 the score at half-time here. Windmill 2023 mixed semi-final action on the pitch behind us. Field 8 in the other semi-final, Krit up 9-6 on Italy. Maybe not the semi-final that people envisaged going into the bracket. Ireland and France the favourites on that half of the draw, but neither of them made it through.
Indeed. It is all happening here at Windmill. One has to think, though, Benji, perhaps, the teams here being mindful of EUC
That is
the
the question, isn't it? How much do you show?
Yeah, exactly. How much do you do? How much do you throw yourselves around knowing that you've got a gold that, I mean, as much as we love Herbie and the trophy, and I really enjoyed the bold statement from Clapham on their social media saying that they were taking Herbie for a short brief before he comes back home to London.
That went well.
Extremely well.
Tweets that precede unfortunate events.
Indeed, indeed. But yeah, it's a really interesting one, and certainly we know that Jen Kwan is already carrying an injury, I believe, from the quarterfinal matchup. So really, this is not the moment to throw yourself around hell for leather all the time, but we're getting some spectacular scenes nonetheless.
So Briggs marches to the brick mark to begin the second half. And again, Briggs wants it all in one. And again, he's got it. If Germany don't shut that down, Briggs is going to keep bombing it. And the majority of the time, he's going to hit on it as well. And it's 8.
Well, we have seen some really great defensive switching, sort of bracketing from the Germans in the previous point that obviously got the break, I think, for Germany mixed. When there was that turnover, there was some very smart play from the Germany women in particular, sort of popping players like Volchak in the back space, just, you know, marshalling around, trying to shepherd players back underneath and make that deep ball look a lot less like an attractive target. But I tell you what, Sam Wilson, one of the fastest players in the game.
That's a lovely shot, isn't it?
Banana man. And what a fantastic shirt number choice. Hashtag just saying.
13 is taken by Bailey Belvin 10, which is what we usually see him wear for Clapham.
How genteel. But if you're watching this, get yourself in the live chat. Hello to M. Syme saying let's go GB. And whoever Matt J is, also a GB fan. Want to see you do a cartwheel, mate. Send us a video. But of the 300 now currently watching, I feel like there's probably some German fans in there as well, Benji.
I mean, they'd have to be, right? Right? Eight. Germany receiving for the first time in the second half. Mikhail to pull. Here's going to be one of those skyscraping backhand blades, I reckon. Not this time. Going more with the driver down the centre of the pitch. It's going to fade away towards this sideline. Caught by Germany, and we're underway again. It's a 3-person weave. That dominator set between Volchak, Hogan and Priyan this time in the backfield. Volchak trying to get other players involved now. A stoppage of some kind. I think a pick downfield. Holzer swings to Priyan and back to Holzer. Now out wide to the double zeros of Wallace. Wants a charge off downfield. Being patrolled by Nugent. Wallace comes underneath. Germany, like, they're just happy to bits and piece their way down. Kirkol. Taylor's a little bit late on Hogan. Priyan back to Holzer. Now Volchak underneath being marked by Smith. Centres and swinging all the way towards the far side. Germany's offence has got that metronomic quality about it again. But they have become jammed in the red zone previously.
Yeah, it is smart when they do take those passes backwards to give themselves a bit more room to work with and be creative. But this is just a matriculated.
Still They're committing to grinding the disc underneath. Holzer into the centre for Priyan, now out wide. Kirkholt down the far sideline, shoots it into Lasse Hogan. And it was almost surgical in its precision.
Well, we saw some deep shots coming unglued for Germany mixed in the beginning of the game, and their license to shoot has still been subject to that suspension, probably by their coaching set. Of course, you've still got... Oh, hold on, I'm trying to think who it is. It's a person who actually currently only has one. Heiko, of course. We have a big old coaching set striding up and down the sidelines here, but really level-headed offense there. We saw a replay of the final score. A zesty one into the end zone, but up until that point, it was all a case of just staying steady, and 35 passes required to punch in that clean hold for the German mixed side.
Yeah, and it ends with Severin Kirkholt punching it in down the sideline to Lasse Hogan.
Absolutely. Hogan, his fourth stat of the game, my internet updating our screen. 2 goals and 2 assists, so clearly been very important for Germany mixed. GB a touch more spread through, apart from, of course, Conor McHale being greedy, as always. And we can't blame him.
When you can blame him a little, as that one Briggs sits it too far out into space. He could bang it with the best of them, but sometimes if you make him to force those touch throws, you can get those turns. Troutman dissing back to Tisson. Through the centre, Taylor read it well and just dropped off a step or so.
Well, someone we talk about as being extremely speedy, but Ellie Taylor is also an extremely intelligent defender, emerging from the north.
Kime down the sideline for Taylor, who centres. Now Briggs. Here's Barnes. Briggs, you can tell that he's eyeing up that flick bomb again, instead swinging to Melvin Teng. That one, a huge layout block comes through from Tim Stulert, and he's going to get an awful lot of field position with it as well. Germany looking to take their first 2-point lead of the game, and it's a bookends for Tim Stulert. 10-8 Germany lead.
Well, Benji, this game has had it all, plus a little extra. We haven't seen a break from GB Mix since they took the scoreline to that 5-3 lead in the midsection of the first half. But what a counter response from the Germans. They haven't needed to go on the bounce too many times. That 3 breaks in the response to level us up in the early stages, but they've just been pecking at Great Britain. And what a huge play that was. Get another look at the layout block. Denial defense. That was mighty intense.
And Stulert, he doesn't stop to admire it. He just gets going quickly again. And it is punched in on a singular pass.
We'll add Stulert's surname. Little Tim there on our stats. Of course, it's the Windmill vibe of just this, the single name players, icons of the sport, a bit like Prince.
Prince who?
You know who Prince is, Benji.
Yes, I know. But
don't tell me you don't.
But then the joke doesn't work.
But then you don't tell me you don't love a bit of Purple Rain.
I think you know full well that I do.
We did actually request that while we were waiting at the chip van last night. It was fantastic.
Did he get played?
It did.
Okay. Great Britain fielding the ball. First pass to Andrew Dick and then Conor McHale. Here's Taylor. Faking the big option. McHale swinging once more. Lewis. And the bespectacled Lewis. Back to Dick, the two of them just swinging back and forth at the moment. Pinned onto Becky Thompson. Little leading throw through there to Lewis. Lewis to Link. Down the line, Andrew Dick thinks about going for the lead shot to McHale, and he's got it as well. Great Britain needed that, 9-10.
They certainly did, Benji. Again, finding Conor McHale. That will be his 4th goal of this game, involved in nearly half. In fact, no, he's got an assist. He's involved in over half of GB mixed scores so far, so clearly doing a lot of damage. But at the moment, the Germans with that 1 point extra advantage.
Great Britain going to have to start cooking up some breaks, and they haven't managed to get one of those since they scored to make it 5-3.
Well, the adjustments from the Germans are just to take the open passes. They really are just waiting for their moments to emerge as we get a little look at the back of Andrew Dick there in our tent, staying cool. Obviously, we have seen the temperature drop and the clouds rolled in a little bit. It's not quite the crystal clear blue skies we saw earlier on today, but it's been a long day of ultimate for these mixed sides, that's for sure. 4 games on Saturday. Ouch.
And you do not get a huge amount of break in between those either.
Indeed. 1 on, 1 off, 1 on, 1 off. Although I do hear in the US, Benji, they like to play back to back to back with about 15 minutes in between the games. So they come over to play in Europe and they're like, what? I have 2 games off? What is this madness? Tell you what, that's got to put a lot of stress on your nervous system.
That's no way to run a schedule.
No, no, no.
It's no wonder that you see roster sizes ever increasing.
Absolutely. Well, it's the interesting thing, you know, especially when you're doing your day-to-day workouts, all of the kind of current understanding is that you have to try and keep them around an hour and not stretch too much longer. Otherwise, you are indeed putting your central nervous system under far too much pressure to recover.
Hogan. Let's go into the backfield, running it through Mari Förster. And now Hogan gets it back from Holzer. Trying to get more of the offense involved now. Finds the little en passant from Hogan. Hogan looking deep down the sideline for Volchak. Is it going to come in bounds? Oh, that was judged to absolute perfection.
Serve that on a dish with a bit of salt and pepper and some vinegar, and you are on. Absolute money throw. Fee Ray's leg cannons can't quite make up the closing speed, because Lev Kovalchuk is an athlete and a half. There definitely would have been a little moment of hesitation, I think, there for the defense, but well celebrated. So another one on the board, the hold for the O-line of Germany mix, and they have cleaned it up here.
Since that break to make it 5-3, Germany's O-line has not even turned it over. In fact, the whole team's only turned it over once.
Yep.
Not bad going.
And of course, diametrically opposite for Great Britain. They've had 2 turnovers in this second half, which obviously were the ones that gave that opportunity for Germany mixed to pounce. Only on the second asking after that lovely poach-off block from Ellie Taylor to gain possession back. So Germany, who chose offense, as we get towards the end of this game. How long's left on the clock, Benji?
Just over 15 minutes, according to our timer.
Which is always perfect, of course.
Correct. Briggs with the break to Dick. Centering pass. Briggs snatches with the left hand. Here's the shot. This time Wilson's trying to get beyond the defense, and he's managed it as well. Over the top of the defender. Nothing Baumgart could do. And Wilson finds Dick to again pull Great Britain within 1, 11-10.
Well, it is better pressure being applied across the board. Not quite enough to prevent that one to Wilson. You can only deny him so many times. Eventually, he's going to get one. Or several, to be honest. But that is better, sort of shutting down those first looks. That one required just the 7 passes.
Here's the replay of that again. Baumgart's a big man, and he tried his best to get there, but he couldn't quite do it, and Wilson stayed composed, and with the force on the 4, floats it there for Dick.
Big shout out to Casper and Will Martin, helping us keep our views clear.
Hopefully.
Well, to be fair, the cameras haven't been too badly finnied, I think, at any points. And we haven't also, on this pitch, because both lines are made out of tape, on the other showcase field, Benji, we're seeing people do funky, funny, weird things because they can't figure out which is the athlete line and which is the actual playing field line. Much to the dismay of everybody.
Hogan. Holzer tries to power underneath, but they're able to get the reset off. Germany, I think, since that kind of disastrous opening salvo, have generally reset the disc a lot more and a lot better. But that time, Fire comes around the blind side, gets the hand in there. This could bring us level.
Oh, there's the leg cannons for sure.
Thompson to Boxall. Boxall's going to sit that one to the break side. Oh, just past the bidding defender. But I think even if he didn't get a touch on it, Kirkole, he did enough to prevent Mark Simpson making the catch.
Well, there's an injury call. I think that may well be Severin Kurschol, just throwing everything at that one, leaving the pitch under his own steam, so that is okay. Hopefully he will just be a little bit winded, but just goes to show you can make bids and get turns whistle clean and put that pressure on all the same, although that would have been a spicy potential momentum changer for GB.
Conor McHale coming in off the injury stoppage for GB. Looks like Justin Wallace is the designated replacement for the Germans.
Don't mind that, both of those athletes having a fantastic game, and of course, if GB is looking to score.
Going to see the 0 against the 0-0. By the way, that's the first turnover for Germany's O-line for about half a game.
Oh, you know, they are but humans.
Here's another big shot from Hogan. Looking for Volchak. Thompson's trying to get the underneath line. Over her, into Volchak's hands, and timeout called.
Yeah, not a bad move from Volchak. Didn't like what she saw on the first look. Just enough players for it to be cluttery, but not enough for it to be a full reset opportunity. So they're going to take a brief moment of pause out there on the pitch, as are we, I think, Benji.
We are indeed. We shall rejoin you very shortly for the scintillating conclusion of this game.
Those who do not know their history can never relive it. The skies, the dives, the sideline smiles. Our past is held in photo albums, drinking stories. The present is a gift. And here at ULTI.TV, we want to make sure we always appreciate it, capturing the immortal moments of Ultimate from around the world and making sure everyone can enjoy them for free, forever. Because the future belongs to all of us.
Last game of the day, Great Britain, Germany. Germany have the disc, looking to make it 12-10. Great Britain have had a break chance on this point, but they squandered it. Link checks in. What if Germany cooked up off the timeout? The little dish to Prien, back down the line to Volchak. It's easy money in the end for the Germans, 12-10.
Well, Benji, it really looked like we weren't going to get a game out of this one if you'd asked us at 3-0, with GB looking in absolutely fine fettle. But the patience and mindfulness of Germany makes even. Goodness gracious me, it's been a long day here in the booth. But before that offensive point concluded, Benji, all of Germany mix were on the pitch. They had the power superhero pose going on. Hands up in the air. And this is getting hot. Curious scenes on the other side of the bracket, of course, making their way through to finals. Have we got a score update potentially on that one?
We did. If you were not following the quarterfinals, then you're expecting to hear the score from France versus Ireland. Well, you can, but it's not the semi-final. Semi-final is Hlut versus the Italians. You can watch that on our other steering field, by the way. And Hlut currently 12-9 to the good.
Oh, so this is perhaps the tighter side of the bracket, of course, you know, also looking at those bronze medal matchups that we might be getting tomorrow as well. It's hot up here at the top, and I am very excited, Benji.
Which idiot would bet against Hlut at Windmill? ignore what I did.
I think everyone, there's lots of hands being raised in our booth.
Here's Keim catching the centering pass from Weil. Dick powering underneath. Taylor avoids the contact with players running through. Swung across to Weil, and two players for Germany take each other out.
Yeah, unpleasant friendly fire, really unfortunate. Looks like Lutterman sort of just grabbing the hip a little bit there. Two players just kind of running each other through. That's Trautmann as well. He's been having a fabulous game of it. Be a real shame to see her leave the pitch, but it does seem like she's come back up, popped out of the grass. So I think it's Taylor who'd snuck through. Toussaint is currently poised and positioned to play catch-up if needed, but that's going to come back on the contact. Taylor's going to be giving it a little bit, so lots of sagging and poaching. Not, I don't think, a proper zone from the Germans, but happy to step off that handler and sort of give the free pass. Violation, though, for sure. And everyone with the open palms, please close them.
It's almost like they haven't read the proper, full WFDF rules appendages.
Well, they'll have to, of course, ahead of EUC, because you've signed waivers saying that you've done that.
True.
And gone through the many hours of anti-doping training.
Here's Lucy Barnes to Dick. I think he might take the option of Thompson down the sideline instead, swinging across and spreading the play to Weil. Weil to the end zone. Ali Taylor just covers the grass so quickly and punches it in. Great Britain still trailing by 1. It's 11-12 to the Germans.
Well, Taylor's played a couple of seasons of women's ultimate, certainly a useful person to have alongside on Iceni, but true mixed pedigree from her days on Black Eagles, if my memory serves correctly.
Yes, you are indeed correct.
And of course, they had some really intense games back at World Clubs in 2018. Of course, now the Scots deciding to split things up into Scram and Alba, but what do you reckon, Benji? Do you reckon with all this success and high-level mixed ultimate being played in the UK, we might see the return of a Scottish mixed all-star team?
I'm not against it.
I'd be here for it.
But then I just really like mixed, so I appreciate I might not have an unbiased perspective.
Oh, we're covering the mixed division right now, Benji. I think we can afford to be a little bit biased, can't we?
No.
As we said before, all of these divisions out here on the field are unique and special in their own particular ways, but they're all dynamic and exciting, and it's heating up. Oh my goodness, Benji. How long have we got left? 5 minutes and change. Oh!
Yeah, I haven't heard the 5-minute jingle go yet, but it cannot be far away. McHale with the pull. Nugent herring it down. First pass from Hogan to Volchak. I just whooshioned them there. Loud calls from the sideline that it's a dominator from the Germans.
Well, it's worked out really well in their previous possession, so honestly, why the heck not?
Lasse Hogan going for the high release into the centre to Volchak. Now leading down the far sideline for Mari Förster.
Of course, plays her ultimate in the club season at the moment for Disconnection, who've already snagged their ticket to Wrocław.
Here's another huge deep shot from Hogan, who's really opened up the arms, and a skyscraper of a grab from the double zeros of Justin Wallace over Conor McHale.
Oh My goodness. Justin Wallace, long time living in Germany, formerly a North American. I think he's still got his American passport, but my goodness, what an absolute roofing. It's not many you get to see of those for Conor McHale.
2-0 is better than 1, I guess. There you are. There's the 5-minute hooter. And Hogan has put so many of those just like towering deep balls up.
Well, early days in this match, that really was not a good strategy for the Germans, but they do have separation, escaping that dominator set, puncturing through, and yep, pretty much a one-on-one matchup to begin with. Good rundowns from behind, help defense, trying its best from Hannah Smith, but just quite couldn't make up the ground there, and that is huge for the Germans to maintain that lead.
I mean, Wallace really high-pointed that, didn't he? Got it at the very zenith of his reach.
Oh, check you out in your verbiage.
Almost like I do this for a living. Almost.
I know, Benji, but it still delights every time.
Thank you. I'm here all weekend.
We've not got much left, but we will be bringing it all to you.
Keim catches the ball and throws to Briggs. Keim again, trying to get things rocking and rolling here, Great Britain. Taylor wants the backhand in the centre to Briggs. Fakes out Vile. And now he's going to rip it down the sideline.
Oh, Lena Trautmann. Oh, that's just so sad. You tapped it with both hands, my love. You could have caught that. You could have catched that. Oh, what a missed opportunity. But I mean, heck, tell you what, staying alive and awake. Andrew Dick in the end zone, keeping his eyes on the prize. You can't really ask more than that, can you?
Sound the catch your D's, Claxon, I guess.
We need an overall tally for a season, I think.
Here's the shot from Briggs and Trautmann. I mean, I think Dick was going to get there if she hadn't tipped it. It's not like he wouldn't have got, without the tip, it would have died. But, yeah, went to try and get the two hands on it. And, well, let's have a look at it again.
Absolutely.
Just want to make sure I'm not doing her a disservice.
Yeah, it goes for the slap motion. You can see that there. I mean, there isn't enough wind to be sort of bobbling that around and making it sort of zip up and down. That's just a straight, I'm just going to try denial it. And it's like, it's not Heartbreak Hotel at the moment because we're just trading out the second half. But is that going to be one of those moments, Benji, where Germany Mix going to look back and think, if only we'd done a little bit different. But, of course, this isn't the biggest big show. It's just Windmill. A pretty big show if you've got it.
Just Windmill.
Well,
it's just the semi-finals.
Yeah, I know. But, like, you know, as I say, this is not where you need to peak. This is where you do a darn good job, play some amazing ultimate, and that is exactly what we're getting. But this is not where you want to peak.
No, it's all about peaking at EUC. But, of course, if you were to get the Windmill trophy in the cabinet, I'm not sure that you'd complain.
Oh, absolutely. Do the double. Why the heck not?
Hogan's deep shots have been almost unstoppable for GB in this half. Holzer. Back to Hogan. Holzer again. Pierre's just bought me a beer. What a man.
Indeed, we are now after beer embargo o'clock. 6 o'clock is when the volunteers here are allowed to have themselves some refreshment.
You mean the embargo? Thank you very much. Here's Förster. Volchak. Being marked by Taylor. Gets that one out into space. Förster to Prien. Dishing off. Kirkle back to Prien. Just resetting it round the back. Faking that high release. Instead, Holzer being marked by Turner. Holzer, Hogan goes down the line and sells Boxall down the river as well.
Oh, Andrew Boxall, my heart breaks for you a little bit there, Chief. It was such a great full 7 effort on the defense for GB Mixed. Just losing that footing, getting a little bit, like you say, sold down the river. Doesn't even require the break, just an open side pass, nice curve on it. And we have Who the Heck is Alice, played over the Tannoy system.
All right, but who the heck is Alice?
That's a good question, Benji. Well, maybe we'll find out tonight at the party this evening. And so in order for the game to go past the allotted time, we have to have one opponent 2 points clear, plus, well, no, 3 points clear of the other. If it's within 2, you play on. So we may still yet get a universe point finish here, Benji.
We will indeed. It'll go to 15 no matter what, which is kind of what you feel like the semi-final deserves.
Oh, absolutely.
I feel like we've got the result on the other pitch all wrapped up now. So if you don't want to find out who it is, close your ears for 5 seconds. Back in the Windmill final.
Oh, and the Italians playing for a bit of bronzy action.
Who will either side be playing? Well, let's find out.
First match point.
We know that GB can go on 3-point runs because they did it at the start of this game. Nice little release there by Link. That one into a congested area and streaking through the Germans with the block, Johanna Erdmann.
Yeah, a little bit of traffic there. Thompson maybe getting into the way of Link. She did have the underneath. I'm pretty sure it was Thompson's defender that got that block. Otherwise, Carla Link was all over that point.
Wilson saw the opportunity for the layout but didn't get it. Now there's no force on Stewart. Stewart getting it back, taking advantage of that poach. Eventually Wilson gets back into position. Tisson. Back to Erdmann. Erdmann going all the way around the back. Now Tisson. Wanting to power the D-line offense. Rising still, back to Trautmann. Tisson up the line for the goal and the win. Germany, we will see you in the final tomorrow.
Well, what an absolute grind that was for the German O-line towards the late stages of this game, just holding themselves together. 10 passes required for that, but 20 for the previous hold. It makes sense that it ended on a break. We had lots of runs of 2 on the bounce for the German mixed side after, of course, conceding that 3-0 advantage to GB Mixed. So, commiserations to Great Britain. They'll have plenty to take from this game to work on towards their Limerick campaign. I thought in those moments that as the stall count rose, maybe Tisson would give us a little bit of flair with a hammer over the top of the stack, because we saw a couple of those creative high passes from Germany Mixed in the midsection of the game. But no, just pops it off, runs up line, and that is another win in the books for Germany Mixed. They may be. So that was what I had picked for the final, was Germany, Great Britain. So I get one half of it all right, Benji. What have any of the teams that you thought made it yet?
No comment.
No comment. All right. Well, let's have a look at the match stats. And thanks very much to our sponsors, Force Ultimate. Clean holds and breaks. What a difference, Benji.
Yeah, in the end, just you look at the second half, Germany turned it over just twice. And one of those times, they were able to generate it back for another break, and on the other time, they got it back and were able to hold anyway. But at the start, it was Great Britain's game, 3-0. They had the disc a couple of times to make it 4. They could scarcely have wished for a better start, but such is the strength of this German side that they would just kept coming like a battering ram, and they would not be denied. Just, I think getting that break on Galaxy Point as well to go on serve into the second half was huge.
Well, in terms of the stats board, in getting a hold of Lena Trautmann, I think would probably be a solid choice. Probably my player of the match for the female matching side. How about you, Benji? Who impressed you on the lads?
Lasse Hogan, I think, in the second half, he put up a number of towering, like skyscraping blades, and the Brits kind of just had no answer for him. 3 goals and 4 assists to make amends for that early turn.
Well, Benji, it was spicy, and a hats off to the chaps of GB as it actually we look at the depth of the stats that have been recorded. Thanks again to Jamie Rabbit. He's had to go sashay away to get himself ready for the party this evening, but it really was an effort from the chaps of Great Britain. Conor McHale all over the stats board. He didn't get any more after we last updated you on his tally, the 4 goals and just the 1 assist. Sam Wilson as well, reeling them in, as well as Andrew Dick and Josh Briggs, of course, with that big arm and his shiny, shiny head, throwing 4 assists. But we will see Great Britain in the gold medal match tomorrow, Benji. And will we be streaming it?
We won't see Great Britain in the gold medal match
Sorry,
tomorrow.
bronze medal match. That's what
We
I meant
will
to
be
say.
seeing them in the bronze medal match.
The dirty
It's been a long day.
It
I
really
got you.
has.
I got you, Hannah.
Thank
yes,
you,
we
buddy.
will indeed be streaming that, and I think we've got one of the open and women's bronze medal matches in the morning as well. We haven't quite decided which one that is going to be, but of course we will update you. And then, by the way, if you weren't aware, it's the full setup for tomorrow, the whole shebang for Windmill Finals Day. A full stadium, a lively audience,
And
all
Herbie
the ULTI.TV
himself.
crew. Herbie in attendance, a chance to win some goodies.
I saw Herbie earlier, just a little bit of thing, on a golf cart doing like a queenly wave
I
kind
know,
of affair.
yeah.
I love it. I mean, Herbie's just the best.
Iconic. And that, I think, is us for this day, for Field 7 for today. And next time you see us, well, we'll be on the stadium field for finals day tomorrow. And I, for one, am hyped for it. Oh, baby. 3 divisions, 3 finals for you. In the open division, by the way, spoiler alerts coming if you don't want to know. We have France taking on Mooncatchers. In the women's division, France versus Germany. And as you've just seen, Germany in the mixed, taking on Grit as well. And of course, we will see you on ULTI.TV for those. For all of our ULTI.TV crew and for Hannah Pendlebury alongside me, Benji Reese saying thanks for watching, and we will see you on the other side for Windmill Finals Day.
Thanks.
Yeah, ultimate.
ULTI.TV.
Want your kisses in the morning light. Wanna be next to you every night. No, I shouldn't love you, but I might. 'Cause your lips, they taste like cherry wine. You're no